begins right now with breaking news.
Good evening, I'm Russ McCaskey.
I'm Carol Marson. It's a day for the history books here in Oklahoma. Late this afternoon, a judge struck down the state's ban on gay marriage, ruling it unconstitutional.
The state can appeal the judge's decision, meaning that gay marriage won't happen right away, but nonetheless, supporters of same-sex marriage are already celebrating it as a victory. We have comprehensive coverage tonight.
2 News reporter Dan Perlman is live at the Equality Center in downtown Tulsa with the couple whose lawsuit is responsible for today's ruling. Dan?
Yeah, Russ and Karen, right now I'm joined by Mary Bishop and Sharon Baldwin, 2 of the 4 plaintiffs in this case. Guys, obviously you are very happy with this decision. If you can, just tell me how you found this news out today.
Well, we had just arrived at work at the Tulsa World, and they said, hey, there's been a ruling in your case, and so we were looking over the federal court reporter's shoulder at the screen and saw it.
All right. You know, your reaction when you saw it and your reaction to the fact that this took a major step today.
We were just delighted. We have been waiting for this for so long, and it was just, we were overjoyed.
And I know that this ruling there is still subject to appeal, and this could be several years still until it's final. But what's next for you guys?
Well, it'll go to the 10th Circuit. We are positive that the state of Oklahoma will appeal this decision to the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, and we believe that the 10th Circuit Court will probably rule expeditiously.
Mm-hmm. And in our favor.
Yeah, we believe that we'll win at that point too.
All right, and real quick, last question. What's next for you guys and other same-sex couples in this state?
Well, hopefully justice soon. Same-sex couples across Oklahoma have been waiting for far too long for their right to get married, so hopefully that's going to happen for them soon.
All right, Sharon and Mary, thank you very much for joining us. Now, there is a celebration here at the Equality Center. It's going to begin in about an hour to celebrate everything that's happened today. We're going to have more on that for you tonight at 10. For now, we are live in downtown Tulsa. Dan Perlman, 2 News, works for you.
All right, Dan, thanks. And with reaction from both sides of the story, this just into the newsroom tonight. Governor Mary Fallin issued the following statement. It says, in 2004, the people of Oklahoma voted to amend the state's constitution to define marriage as the union of one man and one woman. That passed with 75% support. The governor goes on to say, the people of Oklahoma have spoken on this issue. I support the right of Oklahoma voters to govern themselves on this and other policy matters. I'm disappointed in the judge's ruling and troubled that the will of the people has once again been ignored by the federal government.
Oklahoma's amendment against same-sex marriage says marriage in Oklahoma shall consist of only the union of one man and one woman. A marriage between persons of the same gender performed in another state will not be recognized as valid. Plus, it is a misdemeanor crime to issue a marriage license to same-sex couples here.
Well, this court case has been going on now since 2004. After the ban was passed, 2 News reporter Marla Carter is live in the newsroom with a timeline of the nearly decade-long case. Marla?
Russ, a Tulsa couple sued the state in federal court in 2004, saying the then newly approved Defense of Marriage Act was unconstitutional, saying it limited marriage to between one man and one woman. Now, fast forward to 2009, the suit was amended to include the Tulsa County Clerk, who issues marriage licenses. Then in May of 2012, the case was set to be heard by Judge Kern, but it was delayed until the Supreme Court ruled on a Defense of Marriage Act case. This past June, the Supreme Court struck down the part of the act defining marriage as being only between a man and a woman. Then, that Tulsa couple who sued back in 2004, they filed a court document to force Oklahoma to recognize that Supreme Court ruling made in June. And today, Judge Kern ruled in favor of the Tulsa couple by saying Oklahoma's definition of a marriage is unconstitutional, paving the way for same-sex marriages. But again, the ruling today is stayed pending an appeal. Now, this marks the longest case against the Defense of Marriage Act. Live in the newsroom, Marla Carter, 2 News works for you.
All right, thank you, Marla. Well, for more on what today's ruling means, we're joined by Mike Redmond. Now, Mike is the Director of Advocacy with Oklahomans for Equality. Mike, you were home when you heard the ruling today. What was your reaction when you first heard it come down?
I was stunned. I was absolutely didn't have anything to say. The words couldn't come out of my mouth.
You've been working a long time for this and waiting a long time.
We've been waiting a long time, and we've been saying for a very long time that we believe the law was unconstitutional.
Now, when Utah's amendment was struck down, more than 900 couples, that happened just before Christmas, more than 900 couples rushed to marry. How soon do you anticipate that same-sex couples here in Oklahoma will be able to do the same?
That's not going to happen anytime soon. The United States Supreme Court stayed the ability of couples in Utah to run out and get married. And presumably that stay would affect here as well. And at the conclusion of Judge Kern's opinion, he stayed the effectiveness of this pending appeal as well. So you won't see it anytime soon.
Back in 2004, 76% of voters said they wanted it only to be one man, one woman. Do you anticipate a lot of pushback from lawmakers after this ruling today?
Well, I think you're going to see a lot of lawmakers deriding the decision because it doesn't conform with their sense of morality or what their traditional sense of marriage is. But one has to look at the United States Constitution to determine whether or not it is a valid law, not on the will of the people. I read the decision, and I have to applaud Judge Kern on a very thorough and meticulous decision.
Absolutely. And now the next step, of course, will be they've got 30 days for an appeal.
Yes.
What happens after that?
Normally, you have 30 days for appeal, and then there's a briefing schedule after that. The case that's in Utah, the Kitchen case, is set on an accelerated briefing schedule where they have to have their briefs done by February 25th. I would not be surprised if there's appeal in this case and the 10th Circuit somehow consolidates the two or puts them on a similar track so they can address both cases at the same time.
All right, we'll wait to see what happens with that. All right, Mike, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Now, we first told you about today's ruling through a 2 News mobile alert. You can find the entire document outlining today's ruling and more coverage on our website, kjrh.com, as well as our 2 News mobile app. We'll also have the latest developments for you tonight on 2 News at 10.